Hey, what's up, guys? It's Wednesday Night Live, and today I'll be going over some topics from Discord, then answer any questions from the chats, and then go and read something. I'm not sure what just yet. I have some ideas, but read something and do a reaction at the end. All right, so welcome to the stream. That's nice. That's cute. Uh, so I did this reaction like last week, and then I just made a thumbnail and then reposted it. But I'm kind of wanting a better. I want something better to read. Oh, I didn't reply to this. I don't like. Why do you need any help reading books? You can just buy books, and then whatever. Like this is like an extremely confusing question. No one needs help. Who needs help reading books? You just find books that you want to read. Like, is that the issue here? I'm like confused. It's in the books channel. Let's see. There was a potentially interesting discussion that was here, but then this person's just like not explaining anything. Uh, like like if you have brain fog, like what are you supposed to do? That's like an interesting conversation topic, but like I have no idea what this person's talking about. Like this is just like there's this is not respond like I cannot make a response to that. What topic is this? DPSAT. Hello, Lee. Can I just ask a quick question? What country, what region are you in? I'm just curious where that's coming from because a lot of people do that online, but it's just so unusual to me. Hello, Lee. Um, Americans would not say that, so I can't tell where that's from. It's just people asking for help. Okay, I see. Um, and just a quick question about that. Are you assuming that Lee is my given name, my first name, my given name, or are you assuming, or do you know that Lee is my family name, my last name? Because I'm just like, is that some sort of convention in Uzbekistan where you just call people by their family names? I'm asking you just because you are probably like the 20th person to do this, and I'm just like curious where this is coming from. Oh, dude, I'm like, I'm like not still not feeling really good. Okay, give me a sec. Hmm. That's Solly. The whole name is Solly is my first name. Oh, interesting. That's definitely not okay. So you're assuming my family name is not my last name is not part of my name of my YouTube name. Anyway, my name is Saul. You can call me Saul. But it's that's not. I'm not offended. I was just curious. Like, cause it's like a trend, and I'm not sure. I wasn't sure where that was coming from. Okay, man. I did a whole thing, but this guy didn't even like reply. This is actually kind of a useful thing. So if you're studying for the digital SAT and you want to get you want to solve the linear PDF questions, but you don't want to overlap with the Blue Book questions, this is what you need to do. Okay, you need to choose the four linear practice tests in my database, and then you just need to say QID does not contain BB. And if you do that from the lookup page, if you put the source 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you do does not contain BB, you will get about 50 questions. Okay, 50 questions that you can solve from the linear PDFs that do not overlap with the Blue Book. So you really I don't know. I'm gonna take these pictures here real quick. Uh, so today I'm gonna do something new where I answer all the chat questions at the end. So I'll come back to that at the end. Okay. Where'd my This is not easy. Mm. Oh, excuse me. I'm getting better, but it's taking a long time. Oh my god. Okay. So what I just did is I summarized how you can find the linear PDF questions without solving any of the Blue Book practice test questions. Just gonna go through the rest of Discord and see what else is there. Let's see. And what's with these? What's with like nobody responding? Okay. All right. Well, Discord is pretty much dead right now. Let's see. There's a couple people active, but really, um, there's a couple people active, but there's just no one's really jumping in. So I invite you guys to jump in because it's just more free help for you. But you know, sometimes there's a dead cohort, and you know it's more your loss than mine. So it's all good. Uh, let's see. Yeah, no. Okay, here we go. So that's it for Discord. There wasn't really that much there. I did have an interesting topic come out during my coaching. I wanted to make a video about it, but my brain is too mush right now. I can't think about that right now. So let's go to the chats. Okay, so there's only one person in chat today. So I'm probably gonna wrap up this session pretty soon. It's been a 10-minute stream. If I'll answer Anno's questions, but if there's no other questions, then I don't really feel the inspiration right now to do any readings. So Anno, this might be it might be just me, you, and me right now. Here we go. You took the SAT. Your reading was 720. Um, what? There were some words you didn't understand. Okay, 800. 720. That means. So I'm guessing you're getting perfect on the grammar. So basically, you're getting close to perfect on the last half of the module, right? So and you're international, so you're getting like three questions wrong on the word and context, and then maybe like the three more questions wrong from like the inferences and like some the textual evidence. Um, Dude, I mean, what would you do? I think your question's pretty broad, so I'm gonna answer pretty broadly. Like, dude, you should you should go back over every one of those questions, and you should be able to explain it. You should be able to teach those questions to other people, and you should be able to explain all of the answer choices A and B and C and D with 100% confidence that you can get it correct next time. And if you're not 100%, you need to go get help. So I would recommend that you go into the Discord server and ask people for help, or go to Reddit, or go somewhere where you can get some help. But figure out how to make those answers um, replicable. How you can replicate those answers, okay, on your own. Like if you cannot explain it, you haven't really learned it. So be able to explain every one of those answer choices and why they're right, why they're wrong, and yeah, and you'll get better. I mean, you might be surprised that your vocabulary is not actually the limiting factor here. Darren, um, December paper pencil. You've taken two tests total. You have a 36 on the writing. Hmm. You have a 34 on the reading. Oh, that's an interesting situation to be in. So you're already a pretty good student, it sounds like. And Darren, I feel like I've seen your name before. Aren't you like a sophomore or something? Aren't you like super young? Let me know if I'm mixing you up with somebody else, but um, you're hang on. That's an interesting position to be in. Your reading is a little weaker. So but you've also only taken two tests. Hmm. But if you only have 10 days, well, okay, there's probably a couple low-hanging fruit. If you've only like I'm gonna guess you haven't really studied grammar yet. Is that true? You haven't really studied it except through whatever you get at school, and those two tests are the only times you really study the grammar. I guess if your goal is to just get like a 720, for example, then I would probably focus on the writing section, assuming that you didn't do a lot of grammar studying before, because you might find that you're just missing a couple basic pieces of knowledge, like what are dangling modifiers, what is pronoun antecedent agreement, like there might be something where you're because you're already a good student, like your grammar is already generally strong, but because you never directly studied grammar intentionally, like you're just missing a couple things. So okay, that changes. Okay, then cancel all that. Then yeah, I would focus then. I would not emphasize so much the grammar then. I would focus more on 34, 36. Now that's an awkward place where you could either focus more on reading or writing, and it would just be like kind of a toss up, where you would get more gains. I would probably just take full tests, because you've only taken two practice tests. You're used to the ACT, but not the SAT. You should learn to pace yourself, and the main thing is you want to get to a place where you are not rushing the reading, even if the readings are hard. Okay, so there are 5 reading passages. There are 65 minutes in the reading test, that is. Okay, in the reading test, there are 5 passages. There are 65 minutes. If you divide 65 by 5, how many minutes do you get? Everybody do the mental math. If you haven't already done this yet, you're already very behind. You should already know the answer. It is 13 minutes. 13 minutes times 5 is 65 minutes. So that means that, true or false, this means that you should budget 13 minutes per passage. False. No, you should not be budgeting 13 minutes per passage. Some passages are going to be much easier, and some passages are going to be much harder for you. And you're going to find that you're going to be tempted to spend 16, 17, sometimes even 18 minutes on a single passage. So what you need to do is you need to have a sense of like an awareness of which passages are generally stronger for you. And the way to figure that out is by taking a bunch of practice tests. You'll realize which ones take more time or less time than you. Um, and then and then you should sort of you should assume that you're finishing the entire test in about 60 minutes. Okay, 60 minutes. And the way that you're going to do that is by is by skipping the hard questions. Okay, when you see a question, at first you're not going to know if it's hard or not. You read it, you try to solve it, you try to predict it. If you're using my strategy, you try to predict the answer. You can't predict the answer. You try to use your map of the passage. You don't know where to look in the map of the passage. You try to predict the answer again. You're still struggling with predicting the answer. You go through the answer choices, process elimination. You don't have a solid answer. Okay, that will take you about 30 to 45 seconds. Okay, just doing everything I just said, that will take you about 30 to 45 seconds. After that, you're gonna realize, oh, this is a really hard question, and at that point, you skip. Okay, you don't spend more than 45 seconds, or definitely not more than a minute on a hard question. You just skip so that you can come back at the end. And if you just do that consistently, you'll realize that you can always finish the test in 60 minutes or under. And then you will never have to panic at the end, just like sacrificing the last 5 questions. That will never happen. So just learn to. I would say if you only have 10 days and you want to improve, and you've only taken 2 practice tests ever, your priority should be just getting used to the SAT pacing, and specifically the reading. You really want to avoid that crunch of just like trying to solve 5 questions in the last 2 minutes, mainly because you've already wasted a shit ton of time on like 3 hard questions that you were going to get wrong anyway. So just make sure to work on that. And then we have random, another question. You took the SAT. Does that look bad for call? Okay, so you took the SAT 3 times, 5, 10, 5, 10, or 5, 15, 10, 15, 10, 15, 50. No, no, that does not look bad. It's an improvement. I mean, I think all colleges know that. And you've only taken it 3 times, so Uh, no, I would say that's a good look. Like you improved. Well, you haven't given me the dates, so that could make it much worse. Okay, it could make it much worse if. Uh, um, Actually, no, not really. You can't really make it worse. Even with the dates, like even if you got a 1510 in sophomore year and then 1510 at the beginning of senior year and then 1540 at the other beginning of senior year or 1550 on the beginning of senior year, it would just be like, oh, okay, no, you're somewhere there, um like you haven't dropped, and the 1510 twice in a row, all that shows is that, like, it's very possible it's just volatility of score. Like you just had a bad performance that day, so it's not really anything to sweat. All right, so that's it for that. Mohammed is saying, "Oh, you did it all in sequence? Even better. No, even better, man. I think that works. I'm guessing the 1510s were pretty similar. The final score is pretty similar, but the reading and the math, or the verbal and the math, kind of like shifted places a little bit. I think it's fine. That is no problem. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to Mohammed now. You're scoring 750, 780 in math, 580, 600 in English. Dude, if you're at 600, you gotta start with grammar, man. Take a grammar book and improve your grammar. So in the digital SAT, there's about 15-ish questions that are So on the digital SAT, give me a second. Where's my iPad? My iPad's charging. Hey, I'm gonna bring my iPad so I can show you something. Okay, give me a sec. Testing. Okay, yeah, we're good. So give me a sec to just figure this out. It's been a while. All right. Hopefully my video doesn't crash. I think my software has been a little bit unstable. Give me a sec. Okay, no crashing. Cool. I just want to briefly talk about the structure of the digital SAT. So there's two modules, right? Um, I'll just keep the second module over here. But this is the first module. I call it module A and B. Okay. Uh, and this is the question number. Okay. And this is the difficulty. Well, try to imagine what does the curve of difficulty look like and feel like to you when you're solving the digital SAT? Okay. Where this is question 1 and this is question 27, right? What does that curve look like? Take like 10 seconds to think about this. Okay. To me, it looks like this. It starts kind of medium with the vocab questions, and then it gets kind of harder. And there's actually kind of I would even say there's kind of a spike here where it gets to like some of the inference questions, the reasoning and inference questions, and then it suddenly drops and then goes down to grammar, and it's like a tiny bit harder at the end with the logical transitions, and this happens around question 15. Okay, and I'll kind of erase this a little bit to make it a little less ugly, but basically like that. To me, that's what the difficulty spiking looks like on the digital SAT. This is around question like 10-ish, and this is around question like 20, 23-ish, something like that. And obviously on the digital SAT, because there's no fixed format, like these numbers can always change, right? It could be the 9th question, it could be the 13th question, whatever. Well, if you're at 600, dude, that means that you're still getting these questions wrong. You need to get these questions right first. Get the questions after the inference questions right first. Do not prioritize the inference questions. This is your last priority. Okay? The inference questions are your last priority. Your first priority are the grammar and the logical transition and the synthesis questions. Get those out of the way. And if you don't know grammar, then go teach yourself some grammar, pick up a book, sign up for a course, get a tutor, do something, learn that grammar, okay? Okay. Oof, my bad, guys. I feel like I'm still like at 60% or maybe 70%. Okay. How do I approach extremely dense reading passages? Counterintuitively, I read slower. I just read slower. And the confidence that I have to read slower comes from the fact that I've done this a lot of times. Okay, if you've only done it twice, you're not gonna be able to build that confidence. But I know that in the worst case scenario, I can still save. Okay, let's actually put out real numbers, okay? So when you guys read a passage, this is paper SAT, by the way. So let's say this is the passage and this is questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? 1 through 10. So when you guys read a passage, you sort of zip through this. So you only know the general gist. You don't know, for example, if it's a science passage, you don't really know how the control variables were set up. You don't really know the specifics. You don't really know like the specific motivation. You don't remember the specific motivation for why they did this, why the scientists carried this research out in the first place. What was the original problem? You will probably remember if there's like a practical application. The practical application comes out at the end usually, so you will remember stuff like that. And you'll remember the general hypothesis, but you won't really remember anything else. And for you guys, you read this. For you guys, this is a 1.5 column passage. For you guys, you were reading this in like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And this is funny because you read it in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but you know why the passage is this short? It's because it's a fucking hard passage. Because it's hard to read. Do you know how long I take to read this? Like, I'll read this in like 6 minutes. Maybe 5. But I'll literally take twice as long as you. So, what's the difference between you and me? Well, what happens is that actually on every single question, because this passage is so hard to understand, you spend a lot of time going back and looking for your answer. Right? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Is it D? I should use a different color for me, so I'll be green. Okay. What I do though is I've already read it, so I'm right now I am 3 minutes and 30 seconds above you guys, right? The thing is that when I read this question, I just know the answer right away. right? So here you spend 1 minute more than I do. Do you see where this is going? Well, basically, I can predict the answer to usually somewhere in the range of like 7 or 8 out of 10 questions. When I say predict, I mean I can just look at the question stem and oh, actually I should split this into two concepts. I could do a one look prediction for usually 3 to 4 of the questions. Okay, a one look prediction is where I just look at the question stem and I know the answer right away. I used the wrong term. I meant zero. I meant no look. A no look question stem is where I look at the question stem only. I look at the question stem only, and I can predict the answer right away. Okay, that saves me a lot of time. A one look question stem is where I look at the question stem and I need to double check some of the things that the question stem is asking about. So then I back up and I come back. Oops, why did that do that? I do a one look over here and I come back here and then I make my prediction. Okay, that's a one look prediction. If you combine my one look predictions and my no look predictions, I usually have around 7 or 8 out of 10 questions that I can do that for. Do you know how much time that saves me? For like the, for like the no look, I can usually chop off like 30 a minute each compared to you, and then for like the one look, I can still chop off like 30 seconds each compared to you. So just just looking at this only, just using this artificial math that I'm using, I'm actually saving 4 minutes, right? Oh, is it 5 minutes? Now this is a little exaggerated. Yeah, this is 5 minutes according to my math. But like, uh, I actually save a lot of time on the questions because I just read slower and I know what it's talking about. Okay. You are not going to get this in one night. Yeah, you're going to need to kind of tweak the pacing. I mean, you can get the initial idea in one night, but you will need to tweak the pacing a bit, and you need to experiment with it to make it work for you. So this is not going to happen in just you're going to need to give yourself at least like 3 or 4, at least 5. Like I would say at least you want like 5 practice tests, okay, before you're reasonably gonna come to like a stable point of how of kind of like stabilizing your approach here. And then finally, usually for me, I mean, honestly, for me, most of the other 3 questions, right, they will still not take that much time. But let's just say that on question 6, for example, I'm just struggling. The thing is that through questions 1 through 5, I've had this healthy rhythm of being like every 30 seconds, right? Every minute, I'm just like kind of moving. I have this movement. And then when it comes to 6, I'm like stuck in process elimination. I can sense myself slowing down, right? And this is different. 6 feels different from 1 through 5 because I was moving very, very snappily. I was moving quickly. I was moving quickly on these other questions, but then on 6, like I can't make a prediction. I looked at the passage. I'm looking back at the prediction. I'm looking back to the question stem. I'm trying to make another prediction. I don't fully understand it. I go into process elimination anyway. A, B, C, D. I eliminated A and C. I'm at B and D, and I'm looking at B, and I feel some iffiness, right? And I look at D. That one also seems kind of correct, but it's like, is the question word weird? I don't. Am I missing something in the question stem? I look at the question stem again, and I'm realizing I'm spending like I'm tempted to spend like 2, 3, 4 minutes on this one question. You know what I do? I just star it and I skip and I return. Okay. As long as you do that, dude, as long as you do that, you'll realize that this one question, right? You'll have as long as you do this, you'll have a bigger pic. You'll be able to take a broader minded approach to the entire test, because then you'll get to question eventually down to question 52, okay? And at question 52, you'll be at 60 minutes. So you have 5 minutes left over, right? And with the 5 minutes left over, you'll come back to question 6 and you'll realize, my God, I just can't get this. Like, this is just out of reach for me, you know? Like, cause I'm someone who's getting a 700. My aim is to get like a 730, 740 maybe, right? I don't even need this to get an 800, to get my score. I don't. I just need to get all the other ones right. And you realize you can just be chill about these things, right? You don't have to waste like 4 minutes on this one question. So, unless you're specifically aiming for 800, like, it's okay. Just let it go. Just let it go. So, skip and return. Okay. Even for extremely dense passages, slow down on the passage, read the questions, predict the answers from the questions, choose and move on. And if you're uncertain about anything, start so you can come back. But just keep it snappy, keep it moving. Okay, don't let yourself get bogged down into these like micro fights with these extremely hard questions, because that will lead to macro pain. Okay. No, I never do a second read through. And if I have to do a second read through, then I have to go into like, that means then the failure was because of my first read through. My first read through was too weak. So I only have myself to blame for that. And then if I have to do a second read through, first I wouldn't do it. But if I have to do a second read through, then I would only do it after I finish the rest of the test. Okay. So at that point, you're just in an emergency situation. Let's say you're at you're at passage 3. You're at passage 3. You're at like the third question of passage 3. You're realizing, holy shit, you don't understand anything. You want to read the whole thing? No, just skip that third question. Okay. Out of the 10 or 11 questions for that third passage, just solve like the 5 or 6 that you can get without doing a second read through. Okay. Just solve the ones that are obvious, and then finish passage 4, finish passage 5, then come back to passage 3 at the end. Okay, because you don't want to sacrifice. Maybe passage 3 is the hardest passage in the entire test. You know, why are you going to sacrifice the medium hard questions for the hardest one? Okay, get the medium hard questions first. Okay, and Lex is here. Lex, what's up? All right, so. Because I'm still sick, I just don't I just don't have any more energy. So I wanted to do a reading today, but I'm pooped. I'm drained by just talking for like 40 minutes. I'm just not in the best condition, guys. I don't know if you can see, dude. I just look at my skin, man. I look sick. God, it's terrible. So. Guys, I just gotta go. I just gotta go. I appreciate all the questions, guys, and I hope I was helpful with my explanations. I need some rest though, so I'll come back. My next stream will be on Saturday night. Okay, Saturday night in the U.S. or Sunday afternoon in Asia / not so much Europe, but Sunday morning afternoon in Asia. Okay, so. Until then, keep on learning, keep on growing. And if you have further follow-up questions, just join the Discord server. And as I alluded to earlier, the December group has been particularly quiet and shy. But all you shy boys, you guys are doing yourself a disservice by not asking questions. If you ask questions, if you get more engaged, you're gonna get more help. So. I encourage you to go into the Discord server and get some help for yourself. Okay, so you can find the link in the description below, down here. And if you haven't liked or subscribed or any of that, just do that for me, man. It makes the server grow, get better. All right, peace out, guys.